Is Germany facing a cyber war? The country is already under attack. Every day, thousands of strikes are registered, mostly invisible, silent, and many people don't know the security threat they pose to their daily life. Cyber attacks are deliberate and malicious attempts to harm technology, and increasingly they're becoming a political tool.
Even if we say we're not at war, it's not longer a peaceful environment that we see.
Cyber attacks target German businesses, hospitals, power plants, politicians, every day. They paralyze public transport, access sensitive data, and compromise computer systems. The country is a popular target for these acts of sabotage, and the fear is they could spill over into an actual conflict.
We're on an all-time high when it comes to cyber attacks.
We joined the German military for a cyber defense exercise, met with the head of Germany's intelligence services, and spoke to industry professionals and cybersecurity experts. Is Germany ready to face a cyber war? How is it defending itself and fighting back? Germany is one of the top targets worldwide for cyber attacks. In 2025, a quarter of all known state-sponsored hacker groups had Germany actively in their sights, surpassed only by the United States, India and Japan. The latest attack has hit Germany's political center right here in Berlin. From leading politicians, members of the government to the former deputy head of domestic intelligence services. As German media reported, allegedly almost 300 individuals were successfully targeted in a phishing attack.
Even the greatest sensitivity does not protect against the possibility of something happening. Then it's important to react, and that's what we did.
Reportedly, victims disclosed their login data to a fake account on the messenger app Signal. Now, Germany's Federal Prosecutor General has started investigations on the suspicion of espionage. Sources close to the government here in Berlin say they believe the phishing campaign may have been steered from Russia.
This was actually not a very sophisticated hack. It is rather a question of a lack of cybersecurity awareness.
Cybercrime is no longer a fringe risk in Germany. In 2025 alone, cyber sabotage data breaches caused 289 billion euros in damage to the German economy.
A
significant part of these costs would not have to occur because the knowledge is in principle there to detect these attacks and to deflect them so that the damage doesn't happen.
Und so zu verteidigen, dass es nicht zu dem Schaden kommt.
Markus Schneider runs the cyber training at Athene, a national cybersecurity institute in Darmstadt, just 30 kilometers south of Germany's business and transport hub, Frankfurt. His mission? To make Germany's industries fit to counter cyber attacks. German companies send their IT professionals to Schneider and his team to train how to detect cyber attacks and defend themselves.
Ja, zeig mal, was du gefunden hast, soweit.
Die drohen mir damit, dass alle Daten verschlüsselt sind und möchten $400.000 in Bitcoin.
Okay.
The training is confidential and happens in the Cyber Range, a virtual space in which trainer Thomas Dexheimer recreates attacks that have already happened. The biggest challenge for the students here? Knowing how to keep their cool.
They
don't necessarily react very competently, which is why they're coming to our training, to have the opportunity to experience it live and test their knowledge in a simulated emergency.
Und dann quasi das vorhandene Wissen hier mit dem simulierten Ernstfall abzugleichen.
Wenn Sie in andere Bereiche schauen.
If you look at other sectors such as aviation, then you have pilots regularly practicing a crisis in their flight simulator.
Ernstfälle trainieren.
So, Germany is ramping up efforts to make its industry fit to protect themselves against cyber attacks. But the problem goes way further. Increasingly, cyber attacks are getting more political and can be linked to state-sponsored actors. As German industries start to feel the heat, they're willing to close ranks with Germany's armed forces to protect each other.
We see a growing trend for nation-state-driven attacks, especially coming from Russia and also from North Korea, supporting them. It's a bit quiet these days on the Iranians for understandable reasons, but we're on an all-time high when it comes to cyber attacks.
The German army itself has long been a target.
We see that 24/7 attacks against our systems, and that is very clear that from low-level DDoS attacks up to sophisticated attacks, people are trying to invade our system, to penetrate our system, not potentially to cause an immediate action and damage, but to get into the system.
In 2024, Germany's military upgraded its cyber defense to be a fully operating troop in the armed forces, next to the Navy, Army and Air Force. Yet, Germany can't do it alone. That's why they joined forces with their neighboring countries for NATO's annual cyber exercise. It's in an inactive nuclear power plant near the Dutch-German border. The computer screen is their battlefield. In this big conference hall, almost 200 military and civilian IT experts are preparing for a potential cyber attack. This time the threat is fictional, with a red team from NATO posing as the attackers and a blue team here behind me preparing how to fend them off. Some participants have to hide their identity as their daily cyber operations are highly confidential. Others, such as Army reservists, are keen to bring in their external expertise.
I wouldn't call it patriotism, but I would say it is just a pure reasonableness that we need to, realize and face these threats and challenges we are currently facing and give a strong answer, and everyone has to do the part he can do to help everyone.
So, Germany's industries and military are teaming up for cyber defense. But is defense enough? The German government is calling for more effective tools to fight back. One option, bringing in Germany's intelligence services. For the head of the domestic intelligence service, this has been long overdue.
It's not only to detect and understand that we are under attack, especially in hybrid warfare, but to respond.
But how should Germany respond to attacks? One strategy discussed is known in hacker circles as hackbacks.
Hackback would mean that if you're attacked and you can identify the server from what you are attacked, then hackback would mean you immediately throw back.
But you need to know who you're hacking back at. One group linked to multiple attacks on Germany is known as Fancy Bear. Identifying them wasn't easy. The Russian hacker group accessed the parliamentary server and the emails of former Chancellor Angela Merkel and other German lawmakers back in 2015. It took authorities several years to trace the attack back to Russian military intelligence.
When you want to attribute a cyber operation to its perpetrators, you need to understand who was technically responsible for the operations. That is challenging.
What makes cyber attacks so hard to trace? It's how attackers hide their identity and methods. They use private computers or unrelated software as a weapon.
If you react to that computer that attacks you, you're not attacking me. So hackback would potentially aim at a victim, a computer that was just hijacked in the chain of the attack. And if you would immediately throw back and attack the other computer, that might be a hospital.
And then there are the constitutional constraints. Right now, federal authorities are not allowed to fight back.
We need instruments to disrupt this ongoing operation of foreign agencies. It's not to send out messages, but to become operational in this context.
But to give Seelen and German intelligence services that right, the country would have to change the law. And that could take time. Time Germany may not have. In early 2026, Russian hacker group Fancy Bear struck again. The group infiltrated internet routers to access sensitive data from military, political institutions and infrastructure. It included 30 devices in Germany. Some of the infiltrated routers were accessed because they were outdated. Still-to digitalization and tech modernization are common problems in Germany.
It's very often these same well-known things that are not being done, which then enable these huge and high-profile cybersecurity attacks, which is quite frustrating, to be honest.
Here's another common problem, Germany's bureaucracy.
When an accident or an incident is happening, you have to report to different authorities. So you're binding really valuable resources you need to combat against the attacker in those notification processes.
To cut through the web of institutions, the German government has set up a national cybersecurity panel. Yet, the round table lacks resolve in emergencies.
If there is a major cyber attack that would happen in Munich, Frankfurt, Berlin, Hamburg, then you have many local states being involved, down to the local mayor of a city. But then we are going each and everyone its way, and there is no coordinated response.
So, we've seen. Germany still lacks significant awareness, defense capabilities, and political resolution when it comes to cyber attacks. At the same time, global politics are getting more heated.
Germany, as any other European state, currently finds itself in a much more conflictive international environment. And this means that adversaries will then use all the means at their disposal, and cyber capabilities have certain advantages.
The important of all this is that it always stays below the threshold of a military armed conflict. No tanks that are crossing a border, no rockets that are landing somewhere in Germany.
Take the cyber attack on the Polish energy grid in 2025. The goal was a mass blackout for Germany's neighbor.
It has been attributed to Russia. If that attack had been successful, this would have meant an attack by Russian actors on the critical infrastructure in a European Union and NATO country.
Cyber attacks are an effective way for one political actor to weaken another, without having to declare war or start an actual conflict. Hard to detect, defend, and designate. They are a serious threat that Germany needs to be ready for.